Velina is finally here in Zenless Zone Zero's 3.0 patch. In this video, we're going to talk about her kit, her team synergies, the best way to build her, and more. As a reminder, all of the content in this video is from the creator beta server of Zenless Zone Zero. As such, some information, results, and values may slightly change for her full release in just a few days. Thank you very much to Hoyoverse for granting early access, and let's talk about our brand new Wind Agent. Since Wind Anomaly is brand new to 3.0, we need to first cover that. Specifically, 3 core concepts: Windswept, Contamination, and Vortex. Once you finish this full anomaly circle on the enemy's health bar, you'll trigger Windswept, which is just the basic attribute anomaly for wind. Next, whenever you do any instance of ice, fire, electric, physical, or ether damage in this windswept state, you'll trigger Contamination. Plus, when having this contamination effect, direct wind damage and damage of whatever element you pair it with will have increased damage. Vortex is pretty interesting because it replaces Disorder for the wind attribute. Note that you can still trigger Polarity Disorder for characters like Yanagi. The cool thing with Vortex is that the windswept state will not be removed, so you can repeatedly trigger this in the same cycle. In other words, Windswept is your basic attribute anomaly, Contamination is what happens when you add another element to it, and Vortex replaces Disorder when there's 2 attribute anomalies that includes wind. With that out of the way, we can finally start talking about Velina's important kit concepts. First, take a look at this meter and these 2 pips under her character profile LinkedIn picture. The meter portion is called Wind Bloom and the 2 pips are called Wind Bite. When you enter the battlefield, you'll have 45 of this Wind Bloom, and both of her EX specials also give 45 Wind Bloom, up to a maximum of 135 points. The 2 Wind Bite pips are very important for Velina's second core concept, her Cyclone mechanic. This is Velina's bread and butter and by far her most important idea. If you can master this, you'll master the character. There's both the condensed version and the sweeping cyclone version of this, but we'll dive more into it in the kit breakdown right now. Basic attack Dancing Fans is a 5-hit series, all dealing wind damage, and you'll have higher anti-interrupt level and less damage taken during the 5th hit. We'll go a little out of order here because all of Velina's assists, dodges, and chain attack are all pretty normal for any character. We also won't be using her special attack all that much, it's just a sweeping gust forward dealing wind damage, but her EX specials are very important. First up is Wind Shear Purifying Rise, which is a dodge backward, then unleashing a massive wind blast dealing wind damage. And of course, you do get the backward dodge effect that will trigger Vital View. Plus, like a lot of these, they can chain back into the 5th hit of basic attack. If you have enough energy after using this move, you can press or hold the special button to activate the follow-up, Wind Shear Triple Death Blow, which does the same thing, dealing wind damage, and it can chain back into the 5th hit of basic. When you have at least 90 Wind Bloom, you can hold special or basic to activate Eye of the Storm, which will summon that sweeping cyclone we talked about. This lasts for 5 seconds and will trigger the previous character's quick assist. The main concepts built into this sweeping cyclone are apparent in the core passives, which we'll talk about very shortly. When your decibel rating is at 3000, aka the maximum, you know what time it is. Press Q to activate Ultimate Heed the Tempest, unleashing multiple attacks against enemies dealing massive wind damage, and this will also trigger the previous character's quick assist. As you can see, Velina's kit is very simple and powerful, but the core passives are where they really shine. This first blurb from Breeze and Bloom tells us about Velina's conversion rate of energy regen to anomaly mastery. The second blurb re-mentions that we start with 45 Wind Bloom, and each version of the EX special gains 45, up to a max of 135. But here's where all of the core concepts come to play. Remember that Vortex replaces Disorder for the wind anomaly, and when Velina triggers this, she'll gain 1 point of that pip in her meter called Wind Bite, while summoning a condensed cyclone like seen here. If she has 2 points of Wind Bite when she triggers Vortex, both will be consumed to increase that damage multiplier of that Vortex by 150%, and it will be a sweeping cyclone like the one from her EX special instead. But wait, there's more, as we see in this big text blurb. When any sweeping cyclone from Velina hits an enemy suffering contamination, it will trigger Chromatic Tint. Depending on what element you use to trigger contamination, this chromatic tint will cause the sweeping cyclone to change color to that corresponding attribute and their damage. We also get an enemy wind anomaly buildup resistance reduction by 7% for 35 seconds, with repeated triggers resetting the duration, anytime a sweeping cyclone hits an enemy. Chromatic tint also has that reduction of 7% for each other attribute anomaly. If a sweeping cyclone defeats an enemy, the duration will be extended by 5 seconds, and it can only trigger once per each cyclone, and only one cyclone can exist at a time. But both cyclones also trigger an explosion when they dissipate, and if the enemy is suffering from wind anomaly when this happens, you'll trigger a bloom. Additional ability Tea Party Etiquette activates with an anomaly character or a wind character in the same squad, but the ultimate also gets stronger here if the enemy is suffering from a wind attribute anomaly, because it will also trigger a bloom. This is fixed at 680% of that wind attribute anomaly damage. The additional ability also increases that buildup resistance by 7%, daze by 30%, and attribute anomaly buildup by 15%. So for Velina's simple kit, just make sure you're getting that wind bloom and activating sweeping cyclones. Getting windswept, contamination, and vortex will be pretty automatic from just playing the game with her, so a lot of this will just come naturally and you don't have to worry about it too much. But it's time to move on to the best build section for Velina, starting with her W engines. Her best in slot will be the signature made for her, and I'm probably going to get this wrong, Joyao Dore, and I do give this the edge over Mindscape 1. Velina's best stats are Anomaly Proficiency, Energy Regen, and Attack, so it's amazing that we get Energy Regen from the advanced stat. Remember that core passive has that conversion of Energy Regen to Anomaly Mastery as well. But her signature also gives us a free 70 Anomaly Proficiency boost, as well as a damage increase to both her Vortex and Windswept whenever she uses her EX special, stacking up to twice. Plus, at 2 stacks, all squad members will gain 60 Anomaly Proficiency. So yeah, this W engine is amazing for giving boosts. If you don't get her signature, there's actually a good handful of options you can use instead. And we can be pretty general about this one. Your second best option for W engines is anything with an Energy Regen advanced stat, just because Velina wants it so much. This is a little counterintuitive because a lot of the time she will not be getting the actual effect of the W engines, as they won't be anomaly. And then past these, your third best option is to use any of the anomaly engines, although none of the main effects are super important for her. As for disk drives, there's really only one option for her best in slot 4 piece, and that's the set made for her called Wuthering Salon. This will give us that 10% to wind damage, and when the equipper uses an EX special, their anomaly proficiency increases by 25 for 40 seconds, stacking up to twice. When the user triggers Windswept, their damage will also increase by 18% for 40 seconds. So yeah, pretty dang good for Velina. As for 2 pieces, use either Swing Jazz or Moonlight Lullaby for the energy regen. I did try to use the anomaly sets, but I much preferred having the extra regen, especially because we need to get that energy requirement of 2.88, and this will require both the 2-piece set and disk drive number 6 having the stat. As for those main stats, slot 4 should only be anomaly proficiency, slot 5 should optimally be wind damage bonus, although you can get away with pen ratio with amazing substats, and slot 6 should only be energy regen. Substats follow the same priority, with anomaly proficiency being better than attack percent, being better than attack, and then the rest. Now this next section might surprise you a little bit, because Velina has a lot of team synergy. Because of her insane versatility, she can actually pair with pretty much any anomaly character right off the bat. Her best teammate right now is Yuzaha, because she's just one of the best supports in the game, and by far the best anomaly support. But this is also one of the cool things that Velina has to offer. She is extremely future-proof as well. As more anomaly agents come out, as better support agents come out, she'll just keep getting stronger. And of course, the wind element itself. Her best team right now will be herself, Promia, and Yuzaha, or you can get away with using Non-Gon Yu. Having Promia in this squad features a really high frequency of bloom specialty, and you can keep extending Velina's anomaly duration. Plus, don't forget about the anomaly buildup resistance from Velina's core passives. At the time of this video, this is the strongest anomaly team we can make. Her other best teams will just replace the other DPS in the squad. For instance, you can use Jane, Alice, Arya, Piper, you name it. Although Alice does have the edge. Remember that polarity disorder can still trigger, even if Vortex replaces the regular version. Arya, Alice, and Jane in particular will feature a more burst-style anomaly window rather than Promea's extended timers. But just make sure she's paired with another anomaly agent and either use Aha optimally or non-gun you to get the best results. Let's switch gears and get a little bit stronger with our Velina through her Mindscapes. Mindscape 1 gives the Sweeping Cyclone from additional ability an extra 20% daze, and when Velina triggers Vortex, she ignores 20% of the target's all attribute resistance, plus, when a squad member deals windswept damage, 20% more of the wind resistance will be ignored. Ultimately, this Mindscape is really good, but the W engine still has the edge. In my opinion, Mindscape 2 is the most valuable. When Velina triggers Windswept, she can also gain 1 point of Wind Bite, triggering once every 5 seconds. Remember Chromatic Tint from the Sweeping Cyclone? Well, now this can accumulate the corresponding attributes anomaly buildup as well, making for a much easier time to get to Vortex. Oh, and the damage increase of Windswept and Vortex from additional ability are further increased by 15%. Mindscape 4 is an attack increase of 15% for 40 seconds when Velina uses an EX special, and Mindscape 6 will make it so Velina never has any downtime. First, when you increase the damage multiplier of Vortex, you'll actually only spend 1 point of Wind Bite instead of both. When Velina hits an enemy suffering from Wind Attribute Anomaly, the Wind Attribute Anomaly buildup she inflicts will increase by 20% as well, and if you inflict Windswept on an enemy already hit by Windswept, the damage will increase by the remaining duration of the first. So ultimately this Mindscape makes it so she can always loop with no downtime, a damage increase to Windswept, as well as a Wind Attribute Anomaly increase as well. But there you have it for our brand new Wind Anomaly Agent Velina. Ultimately, she's a really simple, fun, and powerful character that pretty much everybody should pull for. But I want to hear from all of you, so let me know in the comments below what you think of Velina. If the guide helped in any way, please make sure to like the video and subscribe for more early access and Zenless guides in general. In the meantime, remember that you are all loved, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.